Functions interview questions and answers. Beginner means advanced. Introduction. A function is a reusable block of code designed to perform a specific task. Functions are widely used in Java, Python, JavaScript, C++, C#, backend development, data processing. Functions help developers, reduce code duplication, improve readability, simplify maintenance, create modular applications. 1 to 20. Function basics. What is a function? A reusable block of code that performs a specific task. Awk, code reusability. Awk, modular programming. Easier maintenance. Better readability. What is function declaration? Defining function name, parameters, and body. What is function call? Executing a function. What is parameter? Input passed to function. What is argument? Actual value passed during function call. What is return value? Output returned by function. Function example in Java. Int add, int a, int b, return a plus b. Function example in Python. Def add a b, return a plus b. Function example in JavaScript. Function add a b, return a plus b. Function that does not return value. What is return statement? Sends value back from function. What is local variable? Variable declared inside function. What is global variable? Variable accessible outside functions. What is function scope? Region where variables are accessible. What is modular programming? Dividing program into reusable modules functions. What is built-in function? Function provided by language/library. What is user-defined function? Function created by developer. What is function prototype? Function declaration before implementation. What is main function? Entry point of program execution. 21 to 40. Parameters and function types. What is parameter passing? Sending values to functions. What is pass by value? Copy of variable is passed. What is pass by reference? Address reference is passed. What is default parameter? Parameter with default value. Default parameter example. Def greet, name equals guest, print name. Parameter not required during call. What is variable length argument? Function accepting multiple arguments. Variable argument example in Python. Def total, return sum nums. What is overloaded function? Multiple functions with same name but different parameters. What is overriding? Replacing parent class function. What is recursive function? Function calling itself. Recursion example. Def factorial n. If n equals 1, return 1. Return n times factorial n minus 1. What is anonymous function? Function without name. Lambda example in Python. Square equals lambda x times x. What is callback function? Function passed into another function. What is higher order function? Function accepting or returning functions. What is pure function? A function that always returns the same output for the same input and has no side effects. Function without side effects. What is side effect? Modifying external state. What is nested function? Function inside another function. What is closure? Function remembering outer variables. 41 to 70 advanced function concepts. What is function signature? Function name and parameter types. What is function overloading? Multiple methods with same name. Recursive call occurs last in function. What is stack overflow? Too many recursive calls exceed memory. What is inline function? Function expanded during compilation. Inline function example in C++. Inline int square, int x. Return x times x. What is static function? Function limited to specific scope class. What is member function? Function inside class. Special function initializing object. What is destructor? Function cleaning object resources. Constructor versus normal function? Constructor initializes objects automatically. What is asynchronous function? Function executing asynchronously. Async function example in JavaScript. Async function fetch data. What is await keyword? Waits for async operation completion. What is generator function? Function producing sequence lazily. Generator example in Python. Def gen, yield 1. What is coroutine? Function supporting cooperative multitasking. What is memoization? Caching function results. What is currying? converting multi-parameter function into chained functions. Currying example. Const add equals A equals B equals A plus B. What is function composition? Combining functions together. What is decorator function? Function modifying another function. Decorator example in Python. @decorator def test. Pass. What is first-class function? Function treated as variable. What is event handler function? Function responding to events. What is lambda expression? Short anonymous function syntax. What is callback hell? Deep nested callbacks causing complexity. What is dependency injection? Providing dependencies externally to functions, classes. What is function chaining? Sequential function calls. What is polymorphic function? Function behaving differently based on input types. 71 to 100. Optimization and best practices. What is time complexity of function? Measure of execution growth. What is space complexity of function? Memory usage during execution. What is function optimization? Improving function performance. How to optimize functions. Check. Reduce loops. Avoid repeated calculations. Use caching. What is dead code? Unreachable code. What is reusable function? Function usable in multiple places. What is cohesive function? Function performing single responsibility. What is coupling in functions? Dependency between functions modules. What is DRY principle? Don't repeat yourself. What is clean code in functions? Readable and maintainable function design. Best practices for writing functions. Capital, meaningful names. Small functions, single responsibility. Proper documentation. What is function documentation? Description of function usage and behavior. What is unit testing for functions? Testing function independently. What is mock function? Simulated function during testing. What is pure versus impure function? Pure functions avoid side effects. Common function interview topics. Common, recursion, common, lambda, closures, parameter passing, callbacks. Common function interview problems. Factorial, Fibonacci, palindrome, recursion problems. What is recursion base case? Conditions stopping recursion. What happens without recursion base case? Infinite recursion and stack overflow. What is iterative alternative to recursion? Using loops instead of recursive calls. What is call stack? Stack tracking active function calls. What is stack frame? Memory block for function execution. What is function binding? Associating function with object context. What is lexical scope? Variable scope determined by code structure. What is dynamic dispatch? Runtime method selection. What is lazy evaluation? Delaying computation until needed. How to become strong in functions. Check. Practice recursion. Learn closures. Optimize reusable logic. Solve coding problems. Biggest function interview concept. Reusability and abstraction. Key function interview focus. Parameters, recursion, closures, and optimization. Why are functions important in programming? Functions improve modularity, maintainability, and code reuse. Function interviews focus on R. Hack, function declaration and calls, recursion and iteration, parameter passing, closures and callbacks, lambda expressions, asynchronous functions, optimization, and clean code. Key idea. Strong developers understand how to design reusable, efficient, and maintainable functions.